Okay, let's take our items off our mat as we go. As you cut your items out, we'll be taking them off your mat. And this is the multi-layer shamrock St. Patrick's Day explosion box. And it is a smaller version of what the box can actually look like. So we'll take those off the mat. Starting with your biggest piece, which is the bottom layer of the explosion, the ones that has your heart on the corners. What we're going to do is just fold exactly in the middle. Your hearts will line up. Line up here, it lines up here, and you can make a crease down the center. In this one, you're going to fold several times, make several creases in there, so that when you open the explosion, it opens up. So flatten it back out and do the same thing on the opposite side. Matching the hearts up. Make sure everything is matching up. Make your crease down the middle. When you're starting out, you need to go a little bit slower so that everything matches up. Open it back up, and then you're going to make creases or fold lines on all your corners. You can pick that up again and match the corner to the other side, just to make sure it folds in the center of that particular all the way around on all four corners. And one more. There we go. All four corners. What will happen is your hearts will need to go the opposite direction because they're going to be folded inward. So we're going to turn it over and we're going to match the hearts up again on the opposite side. Should match up. Should fold and crease a little bit easier on the opposite side. So that you have both the front and the back, or the inside and the outside, have fold lines on it. Will make it easier for your explosion to open up. Okay, so it's already creased this way, so I'm going to turn it over and use that and pinch on the corner here, again down the side, and make sure your hearts are also matching up right here. So that is your basic explosion number one. On the outside of this box, we're going to put the little shamrocks And you can use whatever kind of glue you would like to. I'm going to be just using a glue stick. Okay, now that our shamrocks are on the outside of the box, we are going to make all the little pockets that go on the inside. So all of these spots right here are going to hold the pockets and these two pockets. So let's make those. For your fold over hearts, you have two spots that you can write your message on the inside. This is going to go right here on both of these. So write a personal message. And then that will just glue onto the center of this little square. And what happens is the heart will fold over, just crease it, and fold over on the other side. There is also a slit on both of the hearts so that you can close the heart. Close it up. Okay, so we'll make the second one. Okay, and again you have a spot for your message or possibly a tiny photo. So these will go in the middle. And when you're done putting this little square messages or photo spots in, you will just fold over on the corners. So fold both of the ends in. It should line up with the square that's on the bottom. And also, what's going to happen is the hearts are going to fold the opposite way, so that they lay down like this, and the smaller heart will go on top of that. Just for decoration. And this one will fold over, and this is the top. And this one on here. So now that all four pockets are done, we're going to glue them into their spots onto the first layer of the explosion. For this part, you may want to use this double-sided tape to adhere that to your explosion. For now, I'm going to just use the glue stick for demonstration. So these sides are on, and these ones, which open up to your message, will go on the other sides. And that is your first layer of the explosion. And it will close up like this. And we will do our lid next. So we have panels for the sides of the lid. And we have our St. Patrick's Day shamrock on top. So I'm going to fold this first and put on my corners to hold the sides together, the top. And they just fold right on the corners. You can make a crease, you can see right here, straight across on all four sides. And sometimes it is easier to use something flat like a credit card to just make your lines a little bit flatter. And again, the flaps of the lid will go in like this to hold it together, so we need to fold those in. And again, you can line up where the corner is to this corner, and that's how you know how far to fold in. Usually it will match up very easily. Only thing is, you need to remember that these fold in, but the glue goes on the opposite side. I am going to use a double-sided tape to put on the corners to hold those together. You just need to make sure that the lid does stay together. If you use a glue stick on these corners, it's not going to hold it together good enough to hold the box in place. Before you actually put your sides together for the lid, you want to put your panels on the sides. And also, before we put the sides together, we're going to put the shamrock on the top of the box. So let's glue that together. For St. Patrick's Day. Right in the middle. Make sure that stays in place. And we can do our corners. So for that, just make sure you're lining up your corner right here on each side before the glue sticks. And everything is in place. Inside of the top and the sides. So now we have our bottom base explosion layer. We have the top that will go on top of everything. We'll put that on after we have the second and our third little tiny box. So let's work on the second layer of the explosion, which is going to be not this one, the white one. So we have all of our little pockets that are going to go on the white box. Okay, our white box is the second layer of the explosion and will go on top of this. So we're going to fold in our sides for the box. And on the insides of these four corners or sides of the box, we have some different pockets. The first pocket is going to be what's called the flower fold, and it's going to be four corners that fold in, or your flaps that fold in on the sides, corner to corner. We'll just do a quick fold for now, and you can crease it with your tool. The inside, which is this inside square, will be your message again. You can write your message in here, or you could put a small photo. And it will also be glued on to the middle. That goes on the inside because all of the flaps will fold in like this onto each other and stay closed. On the outside of the flaps, turn it over, and you have your colored half circles that are going to go on your flaps. And I'm going to glue those on. Right in the middle. Okay, when you're folding your flaps in for the flower fold, try to do this slowly, but they go right on top of each other except for the last one. This one is going to go on top of here, but underneath this one. Just like that. So that one's done, and we're going to move on to the heart fold. And you have all of the different hearts that are going to go on the outside. We're going to go ahead and fold in on these sides. We'll basically be holding this in the middle. So corner, corner, fold. And once you have all these sides folded in, you can go ahead and put your message on this one right here. This is going to be your message. And that gets glued in place. Just make sure you are lining up parallel with the sides. And it is going to be in the center, so like that. That's the inside. All the hearts will fold in to that, and the smaller hearts will go on the outside. On all of the sides. Okay, so you have all of the hearts on, and you folded your sides in. Turn it over, and the hearts will fold on top of each other. And the last one again, just like this one, the last fold is going to be on top of this one, on top, but underneath the first one. Be sure that you don't, what I just did, this one accidentally popped up, but it needs to go back underneath this one. So this one goes on top, but it goes underneath the first one. And it is kind of tricky. I'll do it over again just to show you one more time. So let's open that. So on top, on top, on top, and just grab your last one a little bit so that you can put this one underneath and also on top. Okay, now the next pocket are our two envelopes, and we will be folding those just like you would fold a regular envelope. This would be the top. We have the sides that are folding in, the bottom, cross on the corners, this one also I'm going to use the double-sided tape to hold the bottom to the sides. So you want to put it on the very bottom closest to the inside edge, because that's where your flap is going to be, and there's a slight angle right here. So if your tape is too wide, you're going to have sticky on the outside. So just make sure your tape is going on the inside of the flap. I think this is either an 1/8 of an inch or a 1/16 of an inch, and it looks like it's okay. There won't be any tape on the outside. And make sure that it does not go all the way up to this side, because you need room for your little message to go inside and the flap to close. bottom comes up, and there's your envelope. And once you have written, you can slip your message inside your envelope, and the little heart over here, let me grab it with my tweezers. I have just put glue stick on this one, but you might want to use the double-sided tape because it will ensure that it stays closed when it's on the box. For now, I'm just putting it on with glue. Glue stick will be okay, and there are 2 of those that we'll need to make. Okay, so all 4 pockets are done for the middle explosion, and we need to put them on the inside of the sides of the box. And it's best to use the double-sided tape for this. I'm going to use the glue for the demonstration. And they will go right in the middle of each side. So the envelope I'm going to put up here. And just be aware of where your bottom is so that it will still be able to fold when you close it. So it needs to go up a little bit. And so the other envelope I'm going to put on the opposite side. And my heart closure is going to be over here. And my flower closure over here. And then this layer will go on top of the bottom layer. And you probably should also use the double-sided tape to put this layer on. Center everything up. And we have our bottom, our top layer, which will go on top of this one. So for this layer, we are going to fold first the little gates, heart gates, flaps are going to just fold over right at the corners. And these also will get glued into place. So once all of those are folded, we can go ahead and put a really thin line. I'm going to use a double-sided tape so that that will stay closed. The very outside edge. So that will go like that and over. And the little message will go inside. We'll do that later. But on each one of these gate flaps that we fold over and glue, they will also have a nice little heart gate on the outside. And that one I'm going to use the glue stick. And we will do all 4 sides. Okay. The bottom top layer also has an additional 2 little spots for messages right here that will go on these sides. Before we do those, we're going to go ahead and fold these in. On all the corners, sides will fold in to make our explosion. The heart is just on the top of these little notepads or pieces of paper for your message, just so when you put it inside the little pocket, you can see, whoever is looking at it will be able to see these little messages that will come out of pockets, and your message will go in here. Or you can leave them blank, whichever you want to do. Okay, we are ready to do our tiny box. This one. This is our top layer, and then the tiny box will sit in here. And we will do that next. Get all our pieces together. Okay, and first you're going to put on the panels to the outside edges of the box. And you want to make sure that on these panels that they do get as close as the bottom as you can get. If you want to go ahead and make your folds first, that will be helpful. And I say this because the lid is going to go on top, and you want to make sure that the panel is going to show. So also, for the 2 sides that have the clovers on them, we want to make sure we put them close to the bottom of the fold line. For the first one, we'll put the top of the clover or the shamrock on here, and then go ahead and glue it on. Sometimes if you want to use a pair of tweezers, it's a little bit easier. And that one goes on here. And do the other one, this side. These are tiny pieces. The biggest box will, if you're cutting on 12 by 12 piece of paper on your Cricut, and you have sized your biggest box to lay flat at 11.5 by 11.5, that will be the biggest layer. The boxes will be about 3.5 size box, 3 by 3. Just a little bit easier to work with. This one's a tiny box. So this is your tiny box, which also needs a lid. This will sit in the middle, like so, and we need a lid for that box. So on your lid for the tiny box, fold on the corners make the lid. And we'll use your double-sided tape for the flaps on the sides, which hold your lid together. Okay, once you've made all your folds for your lid, the flaps fold in, you want to turn it over and put your double-sided tape on each of the flaps. And then the lid gets put together. So fold your corners in with your flaps, go in and line up the corner on all 4 corners of your lid. And we should have put the little shamrock before we folded it in. And we also have, it's going to go on the top with Happy St. Patrick's Day, as well as the tabs are going to go on the sides. Okay, since I forgot to put the tabs on the sides before it was folded, I'm just going to put them on now. It was a little bit trickier, but it is doable. Accidents do happen. There we go. So when we bring our whole project over, I will undo that in a minute and show you how we place our layers on, but I wanted to put this on top, and you'll notice that both clovers are going to be probably, your St. Patrick's Day is going to go this way, and the lid will go on to show the sides like this when you look at it that way. And so now we're going to put our layers in, and I think I already glued the white layer. I went ahead and moved each of the pockets from the bottom layer and moved them up from here this way, so that when the white layer is on top, you can see that there's something in there. You want to be able to know that there's something behind, and you can get to it. So the white layer is glued on now, and we're going to glue on the next layer. So that each layer has a little bit of room at the top so you can see what's behind it. And so the tiny box, which is good for a little gift or some chocolates, of course, and it will all fold up. Let's see where the shamrocks are. They are on this side, so my lid I want to place so that the St. Patrick's Day is in the middle of my 2 shamrocks, and the lid goes on. There we go. And it will look like this.